Hey guys, so I came back on here. I thought I'd like to share a little bit about how we can free ourselves from this entanglement, this mind spaghetti that we've created. It's important to take time to discern. So the mind decided that it will take an identity from a traumatic situation that occurred in your life, basically, and it will create an identity for that. And with that new identity, that new feeling, that new, how do I put this? It's like that new emotion, it will attach it to different centers in your body, because different centers in our body control different aspects of ourselves. So in the East, they call this the chakra system. So our chakra system, our root chakra talks about our history, our family, our identity, what we are based on a whole, like where we come from, our roots. Then we have our sacral chakra, which talks about our energy, such as our sexuality, our intuition, our emotions, everything is attached to our intuition, but we'll get to that later in this video. It's it's our sexuality. It's basically our feminine side if you're a woman. It strongly aligns to the Empress in you. Then we have we have our solar plexus, and our solar plexus is our confidence, our self-esteem, how we see ourselves. This is where we hold emotions such as if somebody criticizes you, or you identify with other things outside of yourself, such as we've all done this, I've done this, everyone has done this. We've all fallen into the trap of liking a hairstyle because that was in season, liking a certain clothing because that's in season, that's the new trend, or or while we were growing up, we were groomed into becoming this certain image by our parents. They wanted us to be a doctor, be this, be that, whatever it may be. I don't know, a lawyer, a doctor. My dad wanted me to be a lawyer, and I struggled with that for a long time, and I never did see myself as a lawyer. Just because somebody probably can sit and hold a neutral ground doesn't mean they can be a lawyer. That's my feeling on that. Anyways, also, yeah, basically that's just the gist of it. There's more to it, but I'm just giving you the basic coverage of what the chakras cover. Our heart chakra is said to be our brain. That's the brain of our soul, our being. It's not our neurological brain, as we know it, or scientifically as it's been told to us. Yes, we need our brain to process stuff, but our true brain comes from within us. Our heart is our true brain. It's the center. It's where our soul. Soul is just a tag that's been added to our unconscious, us being one, the universe. I know that's a bit vague and confusing, but as I go along with these videos, I'll try to explain a little bit more. I'm just trying to collect my thoughts and bring it in, try to transfer this information that I'm just now starting to understand myself. So the heart is where it's our love, it's our infinite love, it's our compassion, which is just the fire within us, that unconditional love for everything, anything. It holds no judgment. Okay? And we have our third eye. Our throat chakra. I don't know how I got to the third eye so quickly. Our throat chakra is where we're able to express ourselves. So coming from your root chakra, which is like, we're going from down upward. So our root chakra up to our throat, it's the middle of the throat. You'll find that's where you'll know that's where the throat chakra is. It's where we're able to speak and share and tell our stories and express ourselves and teach and give back with our words and of encouragement. Or if you're coming from a good place, if you're coming from a place of awakening, that's probably all you'll be doing. But if you're coming from a place where I even found myself when my ego was in charge, of judgment, we cast negative thoughts and words and project onto others. And if your throat chakra or any of your chakras are not aligned and our ego mind is in charge, then we use our throat chakra based on our emotions from our lower chakras to express that. And basically, what I'm understanding is that from our throat chakra down, those are our chakras that are lower self. So our lower, basically where you connect to the universe, where you're oneness. And then we have the divide, the third eye and the crown chakra. Now, it just so happened that the third eye is in the mind area, like the brain, right? But the third eye is a major intuition. It's what sees beyond everything that's what's that word? That's placed in front of us, what you can physically process with your brain. Okay, it could see beyond that. It could see, feel, think. That's why it's on the head, because our third eye is connected. It's close to the crown chakra, because the crown chakra, which is in the center of your head, is where you receive the downloads, where you receive source, where you're connected to source life and energy. So once we can align all these different chakras from our head right down to our root chakra, we're able to receive downloads from our crown chakra. Then our intuition is able to see it, perceive it, understand it. It overcomes the ego, which is the mind, the brain. And then it helps to process, so that even self-talk and doubt or projections are transmuted into our heart chakra, which is able to process everything and put it into its rightful place. Now, if it's coming from within you, it's coming from below, so it's coming from your root. It starts from the root coming up. It's processed through your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, your heart. So you feel something in your root chakra, something you want to identify with as, your being, something that you're attached to or you're grounded to, and you feel it in your gut, and your, how they say, your gut feeling. You feel that in your gut. So you're using a passion now to develop that. So the passion comes from a good place. If you're healed, if your chakras are healed, if you are healed and awakened, you're using healed place. So it comes through your solar plexus. Now, to build confidence, you speak with confidence. You speak with knowing, your inner knowing. You're speaking with compassion. You're speaking with truth. You're not speaking from the ego perspective of what the truth is, or what you perceive, or what you've learned, or what you think others want to hear. You're speaking true with kindness and consideration, intelligence, wisdom, not intelligence, wisdom. But that's a wisdom that comes from within you, which is connected to source, like a wisdom beyond wisdom. It's like just the knowing, the infinite knowing. Our heart, it goes up to our heart. It's processed up to through our heart to send it out with love and compassion, and through our throat, and then through our throat we express ourselves. Now that is a true integration of healing your chakras and using an awakened person. That's the process an awakened person uses to share love. And when we have this entangled, all these chakras and mind and soul, or unconscious with the conscious battling each other, we cannot discern, we cannot alchemize and process. So we hold on to emotions, we hold on to traumas, we muck up all these, central energy centers in our body, and we're unable to process, we're unable to be whole. So we're basically damaged and hurt people hurt people. So now, going back to explaining or talking about freeing from your mind, it's very important that you ask yourself this question. Okay? Sorry, before I go on to explain any further, I just wanted to say that an important thing to know when undertaking an awakening and trying to understand oneself, we must remember that the ego wants to be superior. The ego wants to be in control. The ego gives us all the illusion of losing control. So it puts us in fear and puts us into survival. And trust me, you do not want to be in survival. I feel like for the past 27 years of my life, I've been in survival mode. And I come to you now telling you this. It truly is liberating to have this feeling of not having to have control of anything, letting go. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there. So let's continue. So we must remember too that the ego is not all negative. Sometimes the ego will take a positive aspect of something and, say you've learned something or you just know something. Now the ego takes on that as being the superior. So it's more like I know, so you don't have to tell me. I understand. How could you tell me differently? So showing superiority, showing this boastfulness, showing this arrogance. So the ego, does that as well. I am better. Look at me. I've done this with my life. What have you done? I've overcome these obstacles. I've managed to come this far into my life. Those are all words that the ego mind would speak into us. So, and those are the driving forces behind our actions and our behaviors. We project that onto others. That's very arrogant. I mean, if I know somebody's doing that, my judgment will come in and say that's arrogance. I will automatically judge that person I mean, we've learned in my previous video that letting go of judgment is very important, but we're human. We're all having a human experience here. So until we learn how to discern and learn how to understand all these behaviors, we're not enlightened. We won't be able to treat others with respect and come from a place of unconditional love. So essentially, basically, what I'm trying to say is that the ego will entangle itself with this experience, positive experience, and it essentially grows. And that saying, your head's swelling. It's the ego growing. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't mean to be coughing in the video. I just want to get this message across. I have a bit of a scratchy, itchy throat today. Anyways, yeah, so the ego grows and it shows superiority. So that was what that part of my message is for this. Let's talk about the ego now in a negative connotation, where the ego uses negative things to attach itself to negative experiences. And the way it does this, it will take an experience that didn't feel good, and it will turn it into victimhood. So, oh my God, this happened to me. And then you have the negative self-talk. I'm no good. Nothing good comes to me. The universe doesn't provide to me. Everybody's so lucky. Everyone else is doing better. I just have the shittiest luck. I'm no good. So the thing to remember here and ask yourself, what am I speaking into? That's what we're going to get to. We're going to get to that part where we talk about what we see ahead of us, what we project is what we become. So basically, we're manifesting. So if our ego keeps us in feeling this victimhood and we hold on to that, then that's the ego is still in control. And no one wants to be in victimhood. Oh, I've been hurt. I'm guilty of that. I've used not used, I didn't knowingly do it, but I thought when I held on to my pain and my trauma and all these negative things that happened to me in my life, and I strived to, my goal was to overcome those, but my ego wouldn't allow me, because every time something happened to me in my life that I perceived as it kind of like triggered that feeling of that time when something negative would happen, I automatically feel that, and then the ego is tricking me into thinking that I'm having that same experience. So the ego uses experiences such as what I just described, both positive or negative, to keep us under control. It controls us, and it's either way, it's no good. Our ego essentially is there for it's our innate ability to discern when we're in danger, when we need to seek shelter, and when we need to protect ourselves. It's not there to constantly be in that position. It's only situational. So our ancestors, when they were living out in the open in the plains and they had to hunt for their food, and, things were very unknown to them, they had a heightened state of that. They had to have these, the ego to discern. We had to use our ego, but our ego is one of those, one of the parts of us that didn't evolve into the next in our evolution. It just remained in this, I'm trying to find a word and I can't. It happens to me very often, guys. You'll probably get frustrated with me trying to explain. I'm so sorry. It's so funny. But I think you kind of understand where I'm going with this. It's just that the ego will keep us in a state of constant doubt, or if not doubt, in constant feeling superior and arrogant over everybody else, that we're better. If we're not better, then, we're the victims. Again, so it's negative polarity and positive polarity. So it is the same ego mind. That's what we need to remember here as well. So if you really, really want to be free, you have to be able to give up all those negative, positive, superiority, victimhood that the ego keeps us stuck in to be free. So again, it all comes down to surrendering those. Okay? We have to understand that the ego, this is no easy task. Again, I've struggled with this all my life as well. I'm not here to judge. I'm just learning this. And I have just finally, reached a point in my life where it finally dawned on me that I'm able to do that. And I don't have to sit and cry in victimhood or cry in sadness or that feeling of remembering events in my life that triggers those feelings, basically. So, let go of the stories of the mind and identifying with the emotions of the body. Okay, the stored, trapped emotions in our body, in our chakra system, in our energy centers in our system. So only when we truly give those feelings up, those thoughts and mind, death to ego, basically, will we ever truly have freedom within ourselves. We're able to connect to source and be able to discern and retrain our mind, reprogram ourselves to live from our heart space, our unconditional love, which is our heart. We'll think with that instead of our brain and the mind. We'll think with our heart, and the heart only holds love and compassion, and it's infinite capacity for love. This here, overcoming the ego, is the most important step of surrendering. It is the most difficult to do, but it is the most essential part of surrendering. Only when we do so are we able to connect to the heart. This ability does not require special books or special classes. It's not a special knowledge that you have to obtain. It is already within us, and it's available to us right now. You obtain that when you're able to silence the mind, when you're able to sit still and observe. You're able to do that when you're able to take away the distractions of the mind, allowing your subconscious to reawaken and observe the conscious, feel what is being brought up, and being able to feel it, process, and let go. Because in doing so, you're unattaching everything that's attached to your energy body and alchemizing and letting it go. I don't know how else to explain that. I mean, I've been doing that. And like I said in my earlier video, my previous video before this one, I laid there in my meditation and I'm waiting for all these tears to start rolling down my face, and that, feeling sad or feeling the pain. My mom didn't call me, or my sister said this to me, and, this person judged me this way, or that person is telling me to do things this way. They comment on my face, or, they make me feel ashamed of myself, and they try to break me down, and all the judgment and the defensiveness and the just the thoughts, the just wild thoughts, the mind spaghetti entanglement. When you're able to just sit there and observe those feelings and watch it, it's like you're looking at the blue sky and there's clouds coming past you and it's just floating by and you're just watching it, you're just feeling it. Just let it go. Sit there. The blue sky will always be there. Sometimes there's like a dark, massive cloud, like a storm cloud, a thunderstorm, so dark and heavy, and it's going to come your way, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to feel it. Just feel it, and just let it go. After it passes, the blue sky will always be there. That's the self. That's the ability. That's what's there always inside of you. That's what's available now for you to use to let go of the ego. I hope I'm making sense so far, and I hope I still have your attention, but let's just keep going. So just a quick recap. We're not waiting for the perfect moment to be able to do this. It's available to us right now. In this very moment. We don't have to wait for the trauma to be healed, or when we're in this retreatment center or we have money to pay a psychologist, or we go to a doctor and he refers us and he prescribes us certain medication or anything like that. We're able to do that for ourselves right now, and only then will you be able to be free, because you truly, truly have to do that. Truly surrender. And then you will bear the fruits of your subconscious, your soul connecting to oneness, the know, the knowing, just of nothingness. It's strange. I feel like I sound crazy, but I can't explain. It's just calm, and it feels good, and it doesn't hurt. I tell you this with all honesty. I'm not trying to make this up. I won't try to lie to you. So, ask yourself, who or what am I? What do I seek? What do I want? Where am I going? Without the past experiences, without the stories, and without the experiences within the body. As me. Thank you for listening. Give it a try. Ask yourself that question and see where it leads.